Hi guys, welcome to the Heart of David. I have a few topics I want to talk about today, so let's get to those. And I hope you guys are doing well on this Saturday. I think you'd find it very interesting if you follow. Wait till the end of this video. I'm gonna investigate to show you why I think the leaders of this world. I'll look over North American leaders, South American leaders, some in Europe, and anyways, I'm going to tell you why the world is this way, and it has to do with money. You'll be shocked. I believe some of you will be shocked. Anyways, you won't be shocked, but you'll be like, no wonder. So pay attention to that. And of these videos of late, you're gonna have to pardon me because my back still, it's a lot better, but and thanks be to God. The first topic I want to talk about is, I don't know if I want to call it this, but I suppose I'll say it anyways. Are you truly born again? I'm going to read Colossians 2. It was reading this that just made me think again, like, I'll just get to this. I remember I've been doing videos for quite a while now, and when I was first born again, I was making videos and I was making all kinds of topics. Actually, I was trying to be a watchman. Well, I'm still a watchman, but not repeating the news cycles. That's what I was doing. And I wanted to be successful. I'm not going to lie to you. But I want it to be more about God. That's it. I don't want it to be about clicks and likes and subs. I don't want it to be like that. I don't want to look at that and have that in my mind. How many times do I actually look at those subs? Not very many times. Like when I make a video, I look down, but you can't see the amount. But anyway, I think you get my point. When I started to make videos after being born again, you have to remember, in my videos, I have so many different physical things at once. So my countenance may not show properly. It may not show properly what I really mean because I feel sick. Like sick to my abdomen and all that stuff. But a person said to me, I don't know if it was an agitating person, it may not have been, but what they said was right anyways. I was making videos and I was at a point in time, this is what the person said. They said, your countenance doesn't look so sure about truly being saved. That you're saved, you're saved. You don't have to worry about anything. And this is my message, my first message to you. There's a reason why I am non-denominational. I don't want to, let's just say Protestantism, okay? There's many things I agree with in there, but I don't want to. What if there's one thing, and there is one thing that I don't want to adhere to? I can't accept that. I just want it to be about Christ. That's it. I want to be free of all that. It doesn't mean that I don't want to talk to people who believe in God and fellowship. That's not what that means. But anyways, to get back to the point, I was born again. Things were changing for me. But I still had that mindset where I thought I had to do things to be saved. I wasn't so sure. And I felt really confused. But after a while, and after studying, to be honest, Paul's epistles, you have to read Paul's epistles. A lot of people don't want to do that. He's the new Moses. People don't accept that. The stuff that he reveals is the last revealing. The information that he has is priceless, and everything he says is right. If you're born again, you're a new creature. And there are a lot of videos, what does born again look like? I've made them myself, but I stopped making those things because people get very defensive about that, because either they still want to stay in their sins, or they're just very legalistic people. Of course, there's a way that a born again person, you can certainly measure it. People don't think so, but you can. But you also may be wrong too. So it's probably wrong to do that, but just give me a second. I got to get out of the picture because of my back. That hurt. To be born again, what do you think it means? And it's something that if you want to go to heaven, you have to read the passage where Jesus was talking to Nicodemus. Jesus told us there's no other way for us to go to heaven but to be born again. There's no argument, there's no debate. It means you and I put off the old person. We don't live in sins. Don't call me work-based. I'm saying we will fall short, we will still sin, but we will be chastened for it, and we'll feel convicted, and we'll say sorry to God. But we won't actively be trying to sin. You put off the old person, and you become a new creation. You become like Christ, and every single day you strive to be more like him. In everything you do, and all the work you do, you think of God. Every conversation you have with a person, you reflect, what would Christ be like in this situation? And it's going to be day by day. You're going to learn things day by day. So what made me think of this? I'm just going to so I wasn't so sure in my journey, like, well, no wonder I came out of the Catholic system, right? The traditions of men. And so this was my reading this morning. I just finished Philippians. So Colossians 2. I'll read the title, but this isn't there are no titles in the Bible. Not philosophy, but Christ. And so, I went through the stages of legalism, and there's a lot of that out there. So I want you to read this. And if you're caught in legalism, right, and you're paying attention to people who are into that, but are still good people, still born again, I want you to read Galatians 1-6. That should iron out everything. If you're worried about legalism and you think you have to do this or that, go read Galatians 1-6. But also read this. Listen to this. For I want you to know what a great conflict I have for you and those in Laodicea. As many have not seen my face in the flesh, that their hearts may be encouraged, being knit together in love, and attaining to all riches, to the full assurance of understanding, to the knowledge of the mystery of God, both of the sorry, I'm used to my glasses now, so knit together in love and attaining to all riches, to the full assurance of understanding, to the knowledge of the mystery of God, both of the Father and of Christ, in whom are hidden all treasures of wisdom and knowledge. Now this I say, lest anyone should deceive you with persuasive words. For though I am absent in the flesh, yet I am with you in the Spirit, rejoicing to see your good order and the steadfastness of your faith. As you therefore have received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk in him, rooted and built up in him and established in the faith, as you have been taught, abounding in it with thanksgiving. Beware, lest anyone cheat you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the traditions of men. That's the Catholic system. According to the basic principles of the world and the Orthodox, and not according to Christ. For in him dwells all the fullness of the Godhead bodily, and you are complete in him. Yes, I remember another part I'm going to do now. Who is the head of all principality and power. We are the body, and he is the head. So there's a title here. I always say this before not legalism, but Christ. In him you were also circumcised with the circumcision made without hands, a heart of flesh, by putting off the body of the sins of the flesh, by the circumcision of Christ, buried with him in baptism, in which you also were raised with him through faith in the working of God, who raised him from the dead. And you being dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, he has made alive together with him, having forgiven you all trespasses, having wiped out the handwriting of requirements that was against us, the handwriting, the law, which was contrary to us, and he has taken it out of the way. He took it out of the way, having nailed it to the cross. Having disarmed principalities and powers, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them in it. So let no one judge you in food or drink, regarding a festival or a new moon or Sabbath. I don't know, when I look at that, I'm like, if you want to celebrate the Sabbath, go ahead. If you don't want to, don't. But listen, which are a shadow of things to come. A shadow of things to come. So those things they mean something still. They will. When Christ comes, we'll see. Let no one cheat you of your reward, taking delight in false humility and worship of angels, as many do. Surely the Catholic system does. Intruding into those things which he has not even seen. So, worship of angels, intruding into those things, they haven't even seen them, vainly puffed up in his fleshly mind, and not holding fast to the head, which is Christ, from whom all the body, which is us, nourished and knit together by joints and ligaments, grows with the increase that is from God. You and I can put the seed in, plant, water it, but he gives the increase. Therefore, if you died with Christ from the basic principles of the world, why so living in the world do you subject yourself to regulations? Do not touch, do not taste, do not handle, which all concern things which perish with the using, according to the commandments and the doctrines of men? So, and I'll get to this in a sec. These things indeed have an appearance of wisdom in self-imposed religion, false humility, and neglect of the body, but are of no value against the indulgence of the flesh. Priests, not marrying, that's not biblical. What is the other one? Can't eat meat on Fridays. So that was my family. My mom always said, you're sick, but it's okay with you. So she didn't allow meat on Fridays. Like, it's It's not right. Traditions of men, so you get it. Just give me a second here. I'm going to get into something interesting. I hope I kept it up. Yeah, I'll still get to that. I have to reread this. What does it mean that yeah, I gotta find this, man. Yeah, I guess I can't look through all those chapters. You know what, I'll look it up anyways because I know I just passed it somewhere. I can find it. Okay, so it's just the one back. Colossians 1. What does this mean? I always wanted to know exactly what this meant. What does it mean that Christ is the firstborn? Let me just see here. I gotta find the... I'm just gonna go here. Give some context. Colossians 1, 13. He has delivered us from the power of darkness and conveyed us into the kingdom of the Son of his love, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins. Pay attention. He is the image of the invisible God, Jesus Christ, the firstborn over all creation. For by him all things were created that are in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created through him and for him, and he is before all things. And in him all things consist. He is the head, the body, the church, who is the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he may have the preeminence. What does it mean? This is how people twist Paul's teachings. The Muslims would say, you see, look, it says that he's the firstborn of creation. You know, he was created. Or, no, that's not, is that the Jehovah's Witnesses? That's the Jehovah's Witnesses, but the Muslims would also use this too. Where was I? Colossians 1:15. He is the image of the invisible God. He is God, the firstborn over all creation. It just means, so I'm going to go to what this means. It's better to do that. And if I were you, I would just type up on Google and I would say, what does it mean that Christ is the firstborn, and look for the best thing that you can find. Just give me a sec here. A born-again person, believer, brother, sister, you're going to be changed in some way. If you're not changed, I would argue that you're not. But right at the beginning, I'm sure there's a point in time where you get my point, right? You become dead to this world. It doesn't mean you don't live in the world. If you claim to be born again and you're not changed, And it doesn't mean you have to do or you have to do things. Good works are still good. Because it says that in the Bible. It doesn't say we have to do anything. So, even though he's like a new Adam, Jesus is actually the first real human. Bear with me. If what it means, this is BibleProject.com, if what it means to be human is to be one with the love of the Divine Father, then there actually were not ever any humans before Jesus. That's putting it kind of facetiously and provocatively. But because Jesus is the image of God and the true image of humans as well, means that Jesus is the second Adam who is actually the first. Because Jesus always just was. Just because he let those things go seemingly ahead of us doesn't mean he's not the first. He knows everything from the beginning. He knows the end from the beginning. He's the first truly human one to be united. This is the answer. He's the first truly human one to be united to the divine love. You and I will be like that when we go to heaven. When he comes, when we change in an instant. See what else this says. Key takeaways. Jesus is not in the image of God. He is the image of God. In other words, when Paul reads Genesis 1, he sees the pre-incarnate Jesus as being the image in which humans are made. Since Paul, in the same breath, calls Jesus the firstborn of creation and the creator of all things, he definitely doesn't have in view that Jesus is some kind of creature or created being. Rather, firstborn, in this case, refers to a status or identity. Jesus is the only Son of the Father and simultaneously one with the Father. Humans were meant to be united to the love of God, and it went wrong. And Christ broke down that partition wall. And now through the sacrifice of Jesus, we can be truly united to God. That means we can truly bear God's image and truly be human in a way we couldn't without redemption through Jesus. You know what? You know the temple? When they built the temple, and you see the outer wall, you see the outer wall, you see the temple, you know, the court, everything. All those walls represent something, and that represents our separation from God. A separation from God. You know, when they sprinkle the blood on the veil and all that type of stuff, that has meaning. And the funny thing is that the Jews never really knew what it meant, why they were doing it. It was about Christ. It was about Jesus Christ. And so when Christ came, he fulfilled all the law of the prophets, everything that was spoken. He was in Isaiah 53. And I think it's Psalm 22. And he fulfilled the law. He didn't sin. He fulfilled it. He did the impossible. He did what nobody else could do. And nobody else could speak a word against him. Imagine being alive for 30 or 33 years. His brothers, his friends, couldn't say a word. Jesus says in the Bible, "Did you ever see me sin?" Wow. That should be explored a little bit more. And you think, can you imagine what his brothers were going through? And James realized, wow, he is the Son of God. He's my brother, but he's still the Son of God. He was chosen. I mean, you know what I mean? Like it was just that point in time. Had to be some family, right? I think that's really cool. Can you imagine that? Your family, you're the one picked. Your brother is the Son of God. He is God. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I want to do one more thing before I go here. You may be interested in it. I don't know how far I'll go with this, though. Give me a sec to eat. You know, like in my walk, you know, because you make videos, you get in debates with people, or people write stuff, and you know, I feel like I'm at the point where, like, I know where I am, and there are people who write stuff on purpose. This isn't about arguing. This isn't about doing all that stuff. We are free in Christ. I don't want to debate and all that stuff. I'm born again, and I understand what it means to be born again. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your brothers. Okay, I have a lot of abdominal pain right now. It tends to happen when I'm eating and standing still. It's very tough to do. I'm sure you've noticed in this world, and I can't go back in time. It's just too much investigation. You wonder about political leaders. What are their agendas, and like what drives them? And I look in, you know, there are obvious ones. There are obvious ones who are just about money. It's quite obvious that you look, when they get into office, they have a certain amount of money. When they get out of office, magically, even though they get paid $250,000 a year, you know, they walk out with $40 million. This is not uncommon. It's probably more common than it is uncommon. So you wonder why the world is failing. And despite what you think, what some of you may think, there are still good leaders. There are still Christian leaders out there. Like, I think the Polish president is, and I watched his interviews, seems like a good man. I think that Viktor Orban guy is. One I really like is Pierre Poilievre against Justin Trudeau. But even then, I notice, listen, I do care about my country. I do care what happens in the U.S. I'm not from the U.S., but I'm beside the U.S., so what happens there is very troubling. So what I want to do is this. I just want to investigate how much these people make. Because I think that says, maybe that, I'm not saying that makes a person, but you'll see as I go along, all I'm trying to prove is that it seems that everybody is rich. That's what I'm getting at. So, at first I'm like, you know, Pierre Poilievre, oh, you know, down to earth and all that stuff, and he is. So let's just look. And so I just look at net worth, okay? I'm just trying to create, so Pierre Poilievre, so it doesn't mean what I'm saying here is definitive. I'm getting this from many sources. There's a lot of liars out there too. It could be 3 million. It could be 25. Some believe he has a net worth of 3 million, while others put the amount as high as 25. So he developed a company, and I guess, I don't know, maybe he sold it. So he could have 3 to 25 million. Another one saying 9 million. So he's rich. So let's just say that. How about Justin Trudeau? He got his money from his father. I think he had gas stations. $100 million. So the leader of Canada, $100 million. What about the finance minister of Canada, the deputy? What's the coincidence that all these people are rich? What's her name? Chrystia Freeland. Chrystia Freeland. It's very hard to watch her, I'm telling you the truth. She talks to people like they're children. And they're all gaslighters. According to recent estimates, Chrystia Freeland's net worth currently stands at a whopping $40 million. Wow. These are the people who are leading our country and steering it into ruin. I'll go away from Canada. I may come back to it, though. Those are the people who are running our country. So there's 3 there. How about Joe Biden? Joe Biden net worth. 2024. Oh no, that's not it. I was pretty sure it was more than that. Okay, I thought it was 100 million, but it says $10 million over and over and over. And so his salary, if he makes, like, let's say $300,000 and he's been in Congress for 40 or 50 years, he's got a lot of payments to make as well, so you don't just add that up. They come out extremely rich. How about Nancy Pelosi? I just wanted to do this just so you guys. A net worth of more than $240 million. Wow. One says 120, another says 202. Maybe that's her and her husband. Remember the stocks? I'm sure you know about that. And illegal trading. Just give me a second. So these are your leaders. We know about Donald Trump. We know he's a billionaire. Everyone who goes in power seems to be who wants to go in power. Like Mark Cuban wants to be 2028. Go for that. He's a billionaire. I'm not saying people aren't down to earth, but these are the types of people we need. How about what's his name, who is born again? What about the Speaker of the House? That's his name. Mike Johnson. Net worth. I've looked down all the lists of the Washington. $8 million. Why is this? $10 million. Why is this? Why is this? Is this just North America? Is it? How about Rand Paul? He's on our side, isn't he? Rand Paul net worth. Still a millionaire, 1.5 millionaire, 1.5 millionaire. I don't know, another one here says 30. I don't know if you can trust that. Another one, who knows? So he's got a lot of properties, it says. I'm not, guys, I'm not judging people. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to show you the people who are in power have a lot of money, and that should say a lot of stuff. How about Vladimir Putin? $200 billion, but it's probably more than that. How about what's his name? Macron. Macron net worth. $2024. Not really showing. It just says worth millions. Marketrealist.com. I'm going to keep going. Give me a sec. Brazil, Lula da Silva net worth 25. No. Brazil's former president Lula has frozen assets $4.3 million. That's BBC. Don't know if that's true. Reportedly worth $5 million, the Latin Times. Can you see the common thread through this, guys? What about, what's his name? Let's look at Britain. What's his name? What's that guy's name? Okay, look at let's look at Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister right now in Great Britain. £7.7 million. £7.7 million, so I'll stay with that. Who's the guy before him? Keir Starmer net worth. Let's look over Britain's leaders of past. What's his name there? What's the guy that just went out? Sure, let's look at Boris Johnson. How much is Boris Johnson worth? Boris Johnson outside earnings has now hit £5 million. Another one says, like, this stuff goes up and down. It depends what you own, your assets, all that type of stuff. But he's a millionaire. He's probably got around $5 million, I would say, in Canadian. Just give me a sec, I'll do what's that guy who, the Indian guy there, what's his name? Britain's leaders of past prime ministers. All right, we'll look at, let's just look at some of these. You guys are probably screaming at Tony Blair net worth. How is this possible that every one of them is rich? $60 million. I guess that's maybe Canadian worth or American. 45.4 million pounds. So that's 60 million American. Wow, man. Wow. I guess I'll do a couple more. I know one to look at. How about Angela Merkel? Net worth 2024. $11.5 million. All the leaders are stinking rich. I don't know. You know, it's that's one thing that's hard to overlook, I think. I'm just, you see what I'm trying to display to you. I'm trying to show you why the world is the way it is. And I'm not saying all of them represent something, but a lot of them is bribery. A lot of them is shady deals behind the scenes that you don't know about. So you get my point. I'm not judging anyone. I'm just trying to do an evaluation to show you that most of the leaders of the world are rich. And I wonder if it reflects the values that we see in this world. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. And you know what, I my glasses, like a nerd. I use them a lot now because I'm studying. Been studying a lot. And you know what I'd say to you? I'd say, if you have goals in your life, go for them. I don't know when I'm going to put out the video, but I did a video. I still have to edit it. It's about that type of stuff. Don't be afraid to go for your goals in life. I was out yesterday for the first time on the road on my motorcycle, and it was good. It was pretty fun. So I learned to switch gears up and down. I couldn't do that where I am. I tried that like in a little parking garage type thing, but it wasn't a place to switch gears and stuff like that. But anyways, go for your goals. Go for your goals. Don't be afraid to go for your goals. Like I said, school and all that, thanks be to God that I can do that in the first place. God bless, guys. I pray, by the way, for everyone who's watching this video, and I say a special prayer for Annette. For Annette. Say a special prayer for Annette. I also ask everyone in this room, if you follow me to the end, to pray for Annette, for a prayer of frustration. I'll just stop there. God bless.